How is it going, folks? Welcome back to Porto Prem, and welcome back to the channel where the main host with the most has a rather sore throat. Today we're back with a double header. Triple header we did yesterday. If you missed it, you should go watch it. I think today a triple header might be the end of my voice. So we're scaling back a little bit. And to be honest, it's not just my own performance which has been a little bit wibbly-wobbly lately, because despite being Leeds United in our most recent game, the game prior to that, the game that immediately followed that massive win against Real Madrid, against Fulham, we lost 2-1. Yeah, I mean, I played a rotated team in this game. We took the lead in this game. We had 2 goals ruled out in this game. And on another day, we probably end up winning it. But sadly, Fulham, who they're not exactly a great team, did actually manage to beat us. And with that, we now have 2 defeats for the season. And I feel sad. Today, however, we are back for the first leg of the Champions League semi-final. We are taking on Porto at home. But before that, the slightly small matter of the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea. Every time the FA Cup comes up, I mention this. We've never won the FA Cup. I don't know if we've ever even made it to the semi-final of an FA Cup, but this year we are in uncharted waters, and I really want to go that little bit further. Our opposition, though, in Chelsea, one of the 2 teams to beat us in the league this year, are not going to be easy opposition. And speaking of the league table, Man City are currently now only 2 points behind us with 5 games left of the season. I am getting a little bit nervous. And that feeling of nervousness is probably further exacerbated by the fact that after today's episode against Chelsea and Porto, tomorrow we have that Porto second leg, and we have to play Liverpool at home. A Liverpool team whose media prediction was first. They're currently down in 7th, but they are a team that have constantly been a thorn in our side. Today's already been a really long intro to this episode. My voice is already struggling. Let's get to the first match. Run the intro, editing Jack. Let's get into things. So, of course, I did mention that defeat against Fulham. The only other game we've played in the league, and in fact in all competitions since you were last here, was this game against Leeds United. In this game, they took the lead, but we fought back from behind. Lemos played great in this game, goal and an assist for him. Alanis popped up on the goal-scoring sheet. Dahar, who had an absolutely awful game in that previous one against Fulham, he was much better in this game. In fact, he was one of our best performers, and yeah, I was pretty happy with things when it came to his performances. I feel like this is a guy who long-term will be absolutely amazing. And in fact, for probably any other team on planet Earth, he'd be absolutely amazing. But for us, I don't know, he's never quite done it in the first team when we play the best 11 and he features. And while speaking of the best 11, you might have spotted it with those 2 league games I've just recapped. We did rotate the team for both those matches. What that means is that a lot of the players in the starting 11 for today's game haven't played in over a week, which is kind of a rarity at this point in the season. Now, naturally, having lost to Fulham, do have to be wary that we can't continue in that wobbly form in the league. We need to start getting some wins to make sure we get over the line. But with this FA Cup semi-final game at Wembley, I look at this 11, I think back to the Huntjens performances as of late, who's been absolutely amazing. Alanis has been popping up with goals, and I'm feeling good. There are 2 players unavailable for today's game. Firstly, Paulie Parkin, a player who's been in some really good form. Sadly, out for 10 days to 3 weeks, he is probably going to miss both legs of the Champions League semi-finals, the game against Liverpool, and of course, today's game against Chelsea. The only other man unavailable is Eric. Of course, he was unavailable for the first leg against Real Madrid last time out. Today, he's not injured, he's been a naughty boy, he's been seeing too many yellow cards. As a result, he's suspended. So what that does mean is that for today's game, Lemos is going to come in. He is going to play as that box-to-box midfielder, which I remain adamant is a role that he can do very, very well for us. Yes, he lacks a little bit defensively for a box-to-box midfielder, but this is a man who has been Mr. Guernsey for many years. It's kind of crazy to see now. He is in how many seasons has he been here? 7 seasons he's been at the club. And in that time, he has played 221 games. I think I've added up the total appearances quickly in my head there correctly. Yeah, it's safe to say this guy has been a bit of Mr. Guernsey. And now he's aged 24. He's not really a spring chicken anymore. He's probably one of the most senior players in the team. Elsewhere in the team, Huntjens is starting out on the right-hand side. He was phenomenal last time out. Obviously, with the injuries with injuries, we'll get there eventually, that he's had this year. It's been difficult to get him into the team, but now he's playing really, really well. At the back, you might have noticed Rios and Sweeney playing alongside one another. It's kind of been a transition period this year as Coppo makes way from the first team. Sweeney is now just regularly starting at centre-back. And to be fair, when you look at his recent form, He's been a rather consistent performer in that part of the pitch. I told myself going into today's episode that I was going to try and talk a little bit less, save my voice, because it is struggling, but I want to make sure we have videos for the rest of the week. I think it's safe to say I've failed with that so far, but there's just so much to catch you up on. And of course, against Chelsea today, Chergui, the man who I could have signed, maybe should have signed, didn't sign. Is he going to do Chergui things against us today? Let's find out. Early chance maybe, of course. What the dickens is that? I mean, Sweeney's diving headed it away. They've got a long throw specialist. That's I didn't know that was a thing. Rory Delap, eat your heart out. I'm not sure who actually did the throw-in for them, so I don't know their name. But either way, note that down mentally. That's a thing to be aware of. I was going to say something important, but the long throw's completely thrown me. Alanis, can you finish it? That was not far wide, was it? It was close. Chelsea playing the ball out from the back from the resulting goal kick, so it's all action early on here. They've surrendered possession in not a great area. We are swarming over them. They have, however, managed to beat the initial press. Now a bit of a maybe overload in the middle here as Nurauta in the wide area is going to lay it back to Correa. The right back floating it in. It's headed away really, really nicely. Huntjens is going to get it further away from danger. Archer reads the ball there really, really nicely. Huntjens has been a revelation as of late. Would love to see him put in another 10.0 performance. Alanis played in. I think he's offside. I'm scared to celebrate it. He's offside, right? He's offside. It was a great finish as well through the goalkeeper's legs, but first instinct was he'd gone early. And, I mean, when you see the line drawn like that, it's a lot less convincing, isn't it? But the game said he's offside, so who am I to argue? Thomas with the ball, inside to Petrovic. Nurauta now for them. Chergui through the middle. He's bringing it forward. Going on his lonesome. Rios puts in a big little tackle. Manny Wilford is still in goal. After last episode, I am losing a little bit of trust, a little bit of faith in him, but for now at least he holds down the number 1 shirt as Lemos is going to dink it towards Alanis. That was a nice ball in, maybe a difficult one for Alanis to actually take down. He was swarmed around quickly by Chelsea players, but as they swarm, we can swarm too. Huntjens wins the ball, and Marco Huntjens, I mean, he's done it again. He scored a goal like that against Real Madrid where he won the ball high up the pitch and then just went on his lonesome. This one was even more emphatic. He's picked the ball up here. And to be honest, I'm not sure what I was expecting from the highlights. Sometimes in Football Manager, you get the players where they do the mazy run and then they just smash it over the crossbar. He has hit that on his weaker left foot. He's almost toe poked it in. But it's found the bottom corner and we take a lead after just over 10 minutes. That early goal is going to settle the nerves a little bit. That said, Chelsea have looked capable when they've been bringing the ball forward. So we can't exactly just rest on our laurels at 1-0. A second goal early here would be nice. Of course, if that second goal is for Chelsea, slightly less nice. Chergui bringing it forward. Chergui scores his 13th goal of the season. It's always him. We lost the ball in a bit of an unfortunate area. Then from there, defensively, just a little all over the place. Sweeney came down and closed down the ball, didn't cut off the passing lane. Chergui was played in behind. Of course, we didn't sign Chergui. As a result of that, we've ended up with Ohashi. Would I take Ohashi over Chergui? I want to compare the two of them here. Where are you, Rion? Who would you take? I'm taking Ohashi. Is that controversial? I don't think it is. Tevfik with the ball for Chelsea, floating it back post, headed down, and they've got another goal. This happened last time I played Chelsea in an episode. I'm getting deja vu. It wasn't the very last time, but there was definitely a game against Chelsea where we took the lead, then conceded 2 goals immediately. I think it was Chelsea. I've tried to eradicate those memories from my mind. They're rushing back right now. Jamfi free kick. They responded immediately to us scoring. Can we do the same to them? I'm hoping that we can as Rios has the ball and gives it to Lemos. He has been looking really good from deep actually in this game so far. Lemos, he's been playing a lot of these progressive passes forward, and whilst they aren't always coming off, the fact we're finding ourselves in situations to pick out those kind of passes leads me to believe we will be able to create more in this game. Jamfi down the line to Matty Cadman, a man whose praises I don't sing nearly enough. On this occasion though, he runs into a lot of trouble. Petkovic dispossessed by Ohashi, who's going to work hard to try and get the ball back here. That said, Chelsea beat the press. Tevfik is through. I thought he was offside, but the flag's not raised. Manny Wilford makes himself big. Rios does some chasing. A Chelsea player's been fouled by another Chelsea player. And I think that would have counted had that gone in. Somehow we've been let off the hook. Now, corner for us. Back towards Sweeney. Cleared away, but only as far as Grasser, who can volley them in from there. Ohashi, Cadman. We've had 2 really nice finishes for our 2 goals in this game. Somewhat against the run of play. We draw it even through Matty Cadman. It was Jamfi initially whipping the ball in towards the back post. Sweeney didn't get under it. From there, though, Zicardi. I mean, that is one of the worst defensive headers of all defensive headers. And from there, Cadman, good finish, cheeky finish, well placed into the bottom corner. And it's 2-2. We've had 2 shots on target. They've both gone in. I'm going to shout demand more. It's been a good attacking performance from us so far. Defensively, we've not looked good, but 61% of the possession. We're in control in some ways. We just need to create a little bit more with the ball now, he says, as the long throw merchant himself. Albiash, probably not how you say his name. Look at him. Look at pathetic throw that time. Rubbish. Thomas puts in Zaccardi. I hate long throws. I hate long throws. If you're someone who likes lots of goals and not a lot of defending, I'll tell you what, this FA Cup semi-final's been for you. It's a 5-goal thriller after 41 minutes. Zaccardi scores. Could it be a 6-goal thriller in the first half before we're done here? We're about to find out as Correa has the ball. He lays it inside to Tevfik. Thomas now with the ball. Shergui bringing it forward. Sweeney puts in a good tackle, but it falls straight to Thomas, who's going to hit it. His shot was deflected. Wilford was up to the task of dealing with it. And I am looking at the way we're playing the ball out from the back here, and I'm sat thinking, do we just need to be a little bit more direct? 61% possession is lovely, but it's about what you do with the ball. We're having it in the deep areas. We're not really doing enough. I think maybe that decision will be decided by what happens in this highlight here. Less than a minute left of the half. Ohashi trying to pick out Alanis, can't quite find him. Tevfik now with the ball, and suddenly Chelsea are all over us. We've got no one back. Shergui scores. What was the defending there? Where do my defenders go? I want to pause the play here. So, Rios has decided to close down the man. Ohashi is further back than Grasser in the centre mid area. And then, I guess we've just been quiet in possession. But you look at that. Why Rios presses? I think that was the main issue. I don't know. I suppose this is the disadvantage of how attacking we play. But on the flip side, that just looked a bit weird in the match engine. At the break here, it's 4-2 Chelsea. I wish I had Paulie Parkin to bring on. I wish I had a plan B. I feel like I want to do something radically different here. And I'm sat thinking, is it time for the 4-2-4? Is it too premature? Is this going to be silly if I do something like this? Maybe slightly. Maybe Ohashi at target man. Or target forward. Probably not the best idea with his 8 jumping reach. Okay, here's my plan. Ohashi can play left mid, but not left attacking mid, and Grasser can't play centre mid. So, with that in mind, we'll play Ohashi here as a wide playmaker on attack. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You've never seen that role either. Me too. Cadman, I think I want to have up front, and Huntians will play on the wing. Cadman, you're not playing as a target forward, mate. You're going to play as a pressing forward on attack. Alanis, you're going to play as the target forward. There are times in my life where I think, what am I doing? This is one of those moments. What is this? Inside forward. I think I'm having a mental breakdown, but I think this could work. It's 4-2. Clearly the whole trying to defend thing isn't working. So why try and defend? Let's just go back to the 4-2-4 we played in the National League and have some fun. It is annoying to look at Shergui on a 9.4. I'll admit it. That's wound me up. I don't want to alarm anyone. We're 15 minutes into the half. There has not been a highlight. Ohashi, just go forward, mate. Gianfi, you can go forward too. What is this? Some people are looking at this going, is this how you're meant to play Football Manager? Absolutely not. I'm definitely getting desperate, but can you blame me? Sula, you can come on for Lemos, who's looking tired. Alanis hasn't been good. I'm going to bring in Weber, and we're going to go with the advance forward. I mean, this is something. Let's not look to play down the wing quite as much. More direct, hit early crosses, pass into space. I mean, look, it's a cup semi-final. There's no goal difference to worry about. So at this point, we might as well try and go for it. We've not created anything playing our normal brand of football in this second half. I hate the fact we're still having so much the ball, mind you. Was it 62% of possession I caught there? Still over 60%. Naturally, defensively now, we are all over the place. But if we get the ball forward, there's going to be players everywhere. Ohashi, Cadman, can he finish? Of course he can. It's 4-3. I'm starting to believe. Janfi won the ball well there. Sula, fresh off the bench. What a sub to Weber. The subs have linked up. I'm a genius. Thank you. I'll take the credit. Good finish by Cadman at the end of things, mind you. Chelsea, set piece. Correa, he's already got 1 assist. He's whipped it in. Sweeney, mate. Has he just forgotten the ball exists there? Watch Sweeney. He is 5 yards ahead, and then he just stops running. I don't understand either. 10 minutes left here. We got 1 goal back. I was feeling good. I was bigging up the Sula sub. He's now injured. Of course he's now injured. Why wouldn't he now be injured? Desperate times call for desperate measures. Sweeney can play at centre mid. So this is fine, right? We'll play him box-to-box midfielder. Mothersill, centre mid on attack. I have absolutely no faith in this working. If someone's watching this going, is this seriously a strategy he's deploying? Define seriously. I mean, if we get 2 goals now, I look like the biggest genius ever. On the flip side, we are playing with 1 centre-back and a half-back. So it's kind of 2 centre-backs when we don't have the ball. I'm not even sure how a centre-back and half-back interact with each other, where they play back-to-back. I don't even guess I do either. No one's ever done this before. Segura with the ball for Chelsea. I mean, there's not a shortage of players forward for us. If we get the ball to their final third, we might be able to make something happen. Rios takes the ball down well. 8 minutes left. I want to believe we can still make something happen here. With 1 centre-back. Wilford is going to distribute it up the pitch. I mean, it is looking significantly more like volleyball, isn't it, now at this point, rather than actual football. Chapman, our former player, he's come on off the bench. They're trying to hurt me. Grasser puts in a tackle. It falls to Matteo. I've had a breakdown. We've not turned up in another game at Wembley. We lost the Carabao Cup final. We're not going to win the FA Cup final here. And I'll be frank with you, I just feel sad. I love the fact that despite whatever this monstrosity of a formation is, we are still having 60% of possession. I'll take that as a win. We've got a free kick here. I mean, even if this results in a goal, it doesn't even mean anything. It's a great header, Rios. It's a great... Enjoy it. It's a 6-4 cup semi-final. I mean, the players didn't get the memo. Lads, less highlights in the next game, please. My voice might not last this next Porto game. 6-4. 6-4. I mean... Value for money for the neutral, but not for me. I've not enjoyed myself. Is that the first 10-goal thriller ever in FA Cup semi-final history? I imagine so. It's not exactly a common amount of goals, is it, to have in a football match? I talked about the Ohashi curse, didn't I, a few episodes ago? I think the curse might just be the FA Cup. Might go through the entire of a park to Prem without winning it. Sula is out, by the way, for the games against Porto and Liverpool. That is certainly less than ideal. And well, speaking of that game against Porto, the players were well rested for that game against Chelsea. You didn't really see it, did you, in the performance? But we have got to rest them up because in 3 days' time, we go again. We are at home against Porto. First leg against a team that, let's be honest, are defying a lot of expectations by being in the Champions League semi-final. The other semi-final is Bayern versus Leipzig. I want to believe that we can make it to play one of those 2 German sides, but it all starts with the next game, which is coming right up. Let's be honest. That last game was a little less than ideal, and what is even more less than ideal is the fact Man City just beat Tottenham. And yes, they have now played 2 games more than us, but, and we can't really ignore it, Man City are now ahead of us in the Premier League. They are a point ahead of us, and whilst we have 2 games in hand, that next game that we have against the reigning champions Liverpool is going to be a big one next episode. And to make it even more interesting, they've just sacked their manager. So there's going to be the new manager bounce. Not exactly looking forward to that game against Liverpool in 4 days' time. But whilst I want to worry about that game, I can't worry about it because there's a bigger fish to fry in Porto. 3 Champions Leagues in a row as an achievement would basically mean that not winning the FA Cup doesn't bother me. You know, I don't have to win the FA Cup. If you win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, that's as much of a dynasty as I feel like you can ever really install in Football Manager at a football club, and that is what we are still gunning for here. Here is the team for today's game. I realise I can fill out the bench. Hi, mate, you can get on the bench. Sula's not available. Greg, we'll put a goalkeeper on the bench. Why not? But no, here is the team for today's game. Was tempted to drop Sweeney for Coppo. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do it because Sweeney was disappointing in the last game. Elsewhere, however, Eric is back in the team. Players are rested up. Condition is good across the board. This Porto team are a good team. Their key man here is Mohamed Sakuna, who's not a bad player by any means, but compared to some of the players in our team, we have better quality. We should be winning this one. I feel like it's been a while since we had the first leg at home in the Champions League. There is an opportunity here as the home team to get a nice, healthy advantage and kind of set up in a situation where the second leg, yes, it's away from home. Yes, it'd be on the road. But if we could get a 2 or 3 goal lead here, a lot of concerns that could linger. If we don't do that, could be alleviated. Porto playing the ball out from the back. Opening 15 minutes, nervy. No highlights to kick off this game. Not expecting a 10-goal thriller like the FA Cup game, to be fair. Porto knocking the ball around. Clearly, you know, as the away team, they're going to want to control the ball, limit our opportunities to make stuff happen. We know their big talent is in their players going forward. So defensively, we've got to be much better than we were previously. Alanis carrying a knock is going to lay it to Archer. Ohashi through the middle. Couldn't quite pick out a pass, but it is now with Jamfi, who's going to float it towards Alanis. His header hits the post. It saved the rebound as well. And that was a really good couple of chances that weren't taken. Alanis on a knock. There's a lot of time left in this game. I'm going to take him off. I'm going to bring in Diallo. I'm going to move Huntjens into the striking area, I think, to play as that advanced forward for us. I think this is a role that he can do really, really well. And then Diallo, who obviously he's had his issues with injuries this year. His physicals are taking a little bit of a tumble as a result of that, and the fact he is getting a little bit older. He's going to come in and play it out on that right-hand side. When Diallo's fit, when Diallo's playing at his best, he is one of the best players in our team. But especially in the last few months, he has just not been able to consistently stay fit. But a game like this could be a great one to reinvigorate his season, to get him back on a really good path to end the season on a high. Sakuna playing the ball forward. Koppo reads it nicely. Jamfi now with the ball. Laying it wide to Matti Cadman. A couple of players inside, including Rion Ohashi, who can't be picked out there. Portman now with the ball as, well, Porto, they're knocking the ball around with a bit of confidence here. They're having spells of possession, which I don't really enjoy seeing. Portman with the ball. Sakuna dropping deep their striker to lay it wide to Martins. He's going to cut inside. Good tackle there, but it falls straight back to Martins. He's going to get the ball into the box. Carvalho's there. He's Rabona'd it. And the Rabona cross nearly resulted in a goal. The effort on goal was blocked. It's gone over for a corner. Porto showing they're capable of creating stuff here, showing that we need to show a degree of respect. We can't just look down on them as not as good as Real Madrid, who we took out in the quarterfinals. These are a good team. They've made it here for a reason. But at least for now, it is still 0-0. That was their first shot on target. We have been on top in this game. But for as long as it remains 0-0, for as long as we can't find the breakthrough, a good performance really doesn't mean a great deal. Diallo with the ball, dinking it forward. Ohashi's there. Can he finish it with all 8 of his finishing? Of course he can. He's just dinked the goalkeeper. 8 finishing, by the way. 8 finish. I don't understand either. I'm struggling to think of a player who I feel like has had the kind of impact Ohashi's had here. I mean, Diallo's got another assist for his collection there, but this finish just makes the keeper sit on his bum. Embarrasses him in front of his away fans, the goalkeeper. And that's a ridiculous finish. It's 1-0 here. Debatably deserve it on the balance of play, but Porto have looked a little menacing in this game. They've had 55% of the ball. Having taken the lead now, we want to hold on to it. And, well, a kickoff highlight here does fill me with some nerves. Grasser wins the ball well. Huntjens can't get to the second one. We have got a few Portuguese players that have played in Guernsey colours over the years. It's been a while since, I was going to say, we've played against one of them in an episode, and well, I hope we don't have to play them too much more often, because they cause us issues. Porto have just equalised. We knew Sakuna was going to be a threat. We know he's a good little player here. He finds himself getting in behind Koppo, and then the number 9 just slots into the bottom corner. No nonsense. Half an hour played. I'm going to shout more. I want more. Demand more. Get shouty, get angry, get mean. We have the exact same XG here. We've had 11 shots. They've had 2. Porto don't create a lot, but when they create something, it's usually a really golden opportunity. Looking like at the break as well here, it is going to be 1-1. 2 minutes of added time. And yeah, half-time is here. I've told the players I'm not happy. They're looking fired up. Can we have a more inspired second half performance? I really want to go into the second leg with at least a 1-goal lead. A draw, defeat, I would consider disappointing. Heck, in some ways, based on our record in the Champions League, just going into the second leg with a 1-goal lead would be considered disappointing. Can we have a much better second half performance here? Ohashi to Cadman. He's bringing it forward. He pulls the trigger from range, and it's gone just over. Jamfi's on a booking. No one likes that. Dahari's going to come on. Elsewhere, Cadman and Huntjens are having some poor performances here. I'm going to bring in Lemos, and I'm actually going to play him as a striker in today's game. It's the rare Gustavo Lemos striking appearance. Make the most of it. Take a picture of it. It's harder, more rare sight to see than the Loch Ness Monster Lemos at striker, but I'm hoping in this game here he can make something happen. Of course, in this kind of game, normally we'd be bringing on Paul Parkin, but he's injured still. 20 minutes left here. There's been such a lack of highlights. It's kind of crazy. There's part of me that wants to go more direct with our play, look to play the ball out from the back that little bit less, just to see if we can make something happen. We're not having enough of the ball, really. There is an air of anticipation here that something's got to happen. There's got to be a highlight of significance. It's been a long highlight. The longer the highlight, the higher the chance of the goal. some people think. I don't know if I necessarily buy into that theory. I feel like there's always weird placebos and beliefs that people have with Football Manager. Ball played forward. Oh, Gustavo Lemos. It's your time to shine, Gustavo Lemos. It's goal number 19 of the season for the Uruguayan. Was it Grassa with the assist as well? I'm not even sure. Oh my word. That came from absolutely nowhere. Those instructional changes just to say, hey, go long if you want to. Look to get the ball forward quickly. We don't have to play it out from the back. It's worked wonders for us there. Lemos finishes it. The number 10 coming to the rescue. He is a big game player. It's another big game moment for him. We make it 2-1. 3 minutes of added time. If we get another goal now, it would be massive. Diallo's going to whip in. Rios is there. Lautaro Rios, you beautiful man. And in a game that felt destined to end in disappointment, with us only taking away a 1-1 as we head to Porto, instead we find ourselves here. Porto had 3 players forward for the corner. Manny Wilford's loving it on the near side. I've got the binoculars out to see the header. And, well, Porto perhaps should have had some of those players in the box doing some defending for them. It has cost them a late 1-2 blow. Sees us take a 3-1 lead after the first leg of the semi-final. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to believe it's possible. But based off what we saw here for 87 minutes, we cannot underestimate this Porto team. The second leg might be tricky. Alanis is out for 1 to 2 days. That is some good news because we're back next episode in 4 days' time. Liverpool are under a new manager, FC Porto a few days later. We are heading into a crunch point at the end of the season, and whilst, yes, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, we're not going to be winning either of those. We are still on for a treble, if you include the UEFA Super Cup. I don't know if it counts, but a Premier League, Champions League double would still be a massive achievement. And as we head into this tail end of the season with only, well, a couple of handfuls of games left, it's a possibility. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's episode. I'm going to go rest up my voice. Hope that I have a voice left for next time out. If you've enjoyed today's episode, as always, do drop a like on things. I'll see you next time for more Park to Prem action. Until then, it is me, Jack. Take it easy. I'll see you all again on the next one. I'm out.